Beloved, there's a question that echoes in the quiet places of the heart. A question you may have asked in moments of pain, confusion, or even isolation. Why me? Why was I placed in this family? You see the patterns. You feel the weight. You notice the brokenness, the silence, the struggles that seem to repeat generation after generation. And somewhere deep within, you're different. But hear this clearly today. You are not an accident in your family. You are an assignment. God, in His infinite wisdom, did not randomly place you where you are. Before you were born, before your family became what it is today, before the wounds and the wars and the words ever shaped your environment, God chose you. Not because you were the strongest, not because you had it all together, but because He placed something inside you that your family line desperately needs. You are the interruption. Every family has cycles. Cycles of fear, cycles of anger, cycles of poverty, addiction, silence, pride, or pain. But God always chooses someone to interrupt the pattern. And that someone is often the one who feels like they don't belong. The one who asks deeper questions. The one who refuses to accept this is just how we are. The one who feels a burden others don't even recognize. That's not rebellion. That's calling. You are the interruption. You are the shift. You are the one standing at the doorway between what was and what can be. The weight you feel has purpose. Let's be honest. Sometimes it feels heavy. You carry emotions no one talks about. You see wounds no one acknowledges. You feel responsible for things you didn't create. And you wonder, why do I feel this so deeply when others seem unaffected? Because God entrusted you with vision. And vision is costly. It means seeing what's broken before it's fixed. It means feeling what others ignore. It means standing in faith when there is no visible evidence yet. But hear this, the weight you carry. You're never placed in your family by accident. Before your name was spoken on earth, it was known in heaven. Before your story began in time, it was written with intention. There is a divine precision in where you were born, who you were born to, and what environment surrounded your upbringing. What may look random to the human eye is deeply intentional in the mind of God. Every detail carries purpose, even the ones that cause confusion, even the ones that brought pain, even the ones that made you question your place. There is something within you that does not fully align with everything around you. You have felt it in quiet moments, that sense that you were meant to think differently, respond differently, live differently. While others accepted certain patterns as normal, something within you resisted. While others adapted to cycles, something in you questioned them. That inner resistance is not rebellion against your family. It is alignment with your calling. It is evidence that you are not designed to blend into dysfunction, but to recognize it and ultimately transform it. Your sensitivity, your awareness, your perspective are not random traits. They are spiritual tools. You notice things others overlook. You feel the weight of situations others ignore. You carry questions that others are afraid to ask. This is not weakness. It is awareness shaped by purpose. It is the mark of someone who has been positioned to see beyond the surface and into the deeper needs of a family line that has gone unaddressed for too long. There were moments when you felt out of place, as if you were standing in the middle of a story that did not fully reflect who you are. You may have wondered why your heart responded differently, why your convictions felt stronger, why your desire for something more would not go away. That tension was never meant to push you away from your family, but to awaken you to your assignment within it. You are not sent to mirror everything you saw. Joe, there is a weight that comes with seeing differently. It is not always visible to others, but it is deeply felt within you. While many move through life accepting what is in front of them, you find yourself noticing what lies beneath. You pick up on unspoken tension, patterns that repeat, emotions that linger in the air without ever being acknowledged. You do not just observe life in your family, you discern it, and that discernment carries a burden that is difficult to explain. You may have wondered why you feel things so intensely, why certain words or actions stay with you longer than they seem to affect others. It is because you're not only experiencing moments, you are interpreting meaning. You sense the roots beneath the surface, the causes behind the behaviors, the pain behind the silence. This kind of awareness is not casual. It is purposeful, and it often comes with a sense of responsibility that you never asked for but cannot ignore. There are times when this awareness feels isolating. You might sit in a room full of people and still feel alone, not because you're unloved, but because you're seeing and processing things at a depth that others are not engaging with. Conversations may feel shallow when your heart is wrestling with deeper truths. You may hesitate to speak because you sense that what you carry will not always be understood or received. This silence can feel heavy, as if you're holding pieces of a puzzle that no one else is trying to complete. The burden of seeing differently also reveals itself in your desire for change. You cannot easily accept this is just how things are. That phrase feels limiting to you because you can already envision what could be. You see the possibility of healing where others see permanence. You see restoration where others see damage that cannot be undone. This vision is not imagination alone. It is insight, and insight often arrives before the environment is ready to respond to it. With this comes internal. Breaking generational chains is rarely loud or dramatic at the beginning. It often starts quietly within one person who decides that certain patterns will not continue through them. You begin to recognize behaviors, reactions, and cycles that have repeated for years, sometimes even decades. These patterns may have been normalized over time, accepted as part of the family identity, rarely questioned, rarely challenged. Yet something within you refuses to accept them as permanent. You start to notice how certain responses are inherited, how pain is passed down not always through words, but through actions, attitudes, and emotional habits. You see how fear shapes decisions, how unresolved hurt influences relationships, how silence allows dysfunction to remain unaddressed. These realizations do not come all at once. They unfold gradually, layer by layer, as your awareness deepens. With each layer, the responsibility becomes clearer, even if it feels overwhelming at times. Choosing to break these chains requires intentional decisions that go against what feels familiar. Familiarity has a strong pull, even when it is unhealthy. It is easier to repeat what you have seen than to create something new. Yet you find yourself pausing before reacting, questioning before accepting, reflecting before continuing a pattern. These moments may seem small, but they represent a significant shift. They are the early signs of transformation taking root. There is often resistance when patterns begin to change. Not always openly, but subtly, through misunderstanding, discomfort, or even discouragement. When you choose a different path, it can challenge those who are still walking in old cycles. Your growth may highlight areas that others have not yet addressed, and that contrast can create tension. It is not always easy to remain committed to change when the environment around you has not yet shifted. You may also face internal resistance. Breaking generational chains is not only about